But let's move on to topic number 6, and that's Raiders regret. And this story just came out a few days ago where it was that the Las Vegas Raiders decided, hey, man, guess we want Khalil Mack back, a guy that they traded in 2018 and decided to move on from. Now they tried to make a move to acquire him back from the Chicago Bears. And guess what? The Chicago Bears said, absolutely not. We are glad to keep him. So, Ben, what do you think about this breaking story here? First off, what do you think about them saying no? And then the Bears saying no. And then first off, what do you think about the Raider regret?
I mean, of course, the Bears said no because he's a great player, defensive MVP, an absolute stud. And I mean, look at this picture of this guy here. He's got like the mentality. He's got everything. He's huge. And as far as the Raiders' regret, I think it's pretty obvious. And I think it also goes to show that the Raiders are a troubled franchise in some ways because they show a little like bouts of greatness, whether it's Carr doing well at QB or whatever, but they just can't make it, deep enough into the playoffs. And then John Gruden, who's obviously, I don't know exactly if he's a Hall of Fame coach, but I would say probably he's a Hall of Fame coach. So do you want John Gruden as your coach? Yeah, probably. But also, a guy like Marty Schottenheimer came back and he didn't do well. He never came, when he came back later in his career, he didn't do well. And I think John Gruden's one of those guys. Does he have the ability to be a great coach? He does. But is he a great coach right now? I don't think so. I think they have a little bit of an identity crisis, and this goes to show even he can admit when he's made a mistake, because this is obviously a pretty big one.
Yep. Hey, if you're new to this show, give us a subscribe, give us a like. Producer Ben has come from behind the curtain. I keep calling him the Wizard of Oz, coming from behind the curtain, but he can also go like the Shohei, like I said, two-way superstar, Shohei Ohtani. Producer Ben is doing it all. He's getting all of our media cut up that you see, and he's also giving his opinion tonight. Standing in for co-host Pat Flaherty, who's got collect himself another drive-through. Tisk, tisk, Pat Flaherty. You got to start driving better on that F1 track. And, hey, we always talk about Pat getting drive-through penalties, but we'll talk about that coming up. But, hey, give us a subscribe, give us a like. But let's get back to this Raider regret. I think is one of those things where you brought it up. Hey, John Gruden is the number one guy that has got to take responsibility for this move. And like you said, he's got to be the most regretful. In 2018, when he took over the team and came back, he was the one that decided, hey, let's move our franchise defensive player and see what we can get for him. But then now, only a few years later, John Gruden's saying, man, I wish I didn't do that. Let's try to get him back. And Matt Nagy's saying, are you kidding me? I would never give this guy back, not for anything. And I don't blame him. Like you said, we're talking about a former NFL defensive MVP, probably another guy that could pull in at least a few more defensive MVPs in his career. Khalil Mack is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, one of the best defenders. And, hey, you talk about, people bringing fear in sports. This is the type of guy that brings fear to running backs, quarterbacks, and offensive lines because they have to deal with him nonstop for 4 quarters. This is a guy that can rush you off the edge, sack the quarterback, and, hey, bring the trifecta of not only is he going to sack the quarterback, he's going to strip the quarterback, and then he's going to recover the fumble. This guy can do it all. He's one of the greatest defensive athletes in the game right now. And I don't blame the Raiders for trying to get him back, but I also don't blame the Bears for saying, heck no, you are never getting this guy back. Thank you for sending him over. We are happy to have a future Hall of Famer, realistically, lining up on the edge for us. But I just got to think right now, the guy that's got to take all the blame for this is the head coach, John Gruden, because he was the guy that decided to move on him in the first place. So, hey, John, I love you. I definitely think he is a Hall of Fame coach, one of my favorite coaches all time in the NFL. But I think this is a move that he's going to look back for and in his career and say, man, I wish I did not trade Khalil Mack to the Bears.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But you know, Gruden, he looks like kind of like the Chucky doll, you know, and he plays for the Raiders, and he's got some personality, and I'm glad that the Raiders have shown some signs of life, because they did step it up since he's been there. So yeah, I mean, comparing him to Marty Schottenheimer late in his career, that was a little bit of a low blow. I think Gruden's done a little bit better than that, but I don't think he's done like way better than that. But I mean, yeah, what can you do?
Folks, if you like this show, you're watching it right now on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. That's Comeback Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Comeback Sports. And then all the cut-ups that our awesome producer, Ben Kudo, puts together after the show, that'll all filter to your YouTube channel. You don't have to go search for it. It's just right there in your subscriptions.